just chill and get my time from sleeping properly, you know. So yeah, I'm happy. It's just nice to get the first match out of the way and get myself rolling into the tournament.
You did very well as well. 11-0 for Jason Shaw against Marcus Weston. Jason, good luck in the next game. We'll be getting back to you later. But the next match is Paul Juarez against Justin Bergman, and the commentators for this one, Michael McMullen and Ted Lerner.
Well, in his song, Viva Las Vegas, Elvis Presley famously wished there were more than 24 hours in the day. We might need that to get through all these matches in the double elimination stage here in Las Vegas, but we're off and running with a comfortable win for the defending champion Jason Shaw. And now on the main table, it's our first look at the home contingent in this US Open.
Well, Paul Juarez is going to be similarly up against it as Marcus Weston was in the first match against Jason Shaw. Justin Bergman, a prohibitive favorite here. And this is what's going to happen when you have 256 players and you seed half the field. So 128 players were seeded. And you may find many of these early round matches could be mismatches, but you know, it is the sport of pool and you never know. Now Paul Juarez, well, there's a very crafty shot from Paul right there. That was very well done. So he won the lag. It's a winner breaks format, race to 11. And I tell you what, in the sport of pool, I've watched, been following it professionally for many years, and especially in these multi-table events where you do get a second chance, Michael, that you cannot take anything for granted here.
Yeah, we've seen that already, haven't we? We've seen a lot of very one-sided matches, quite a few matches already finished. And Shaw not the only player to have won by 11 racks to nil so far. I think this one will be more competitive, though. Could hardly fail to be after what we saw in the opening match.
Well, Juarez has left that wide open right there, and just Bergman having a look at the layout of the table, and he's so he's just going to try to get cover on that one. Bergman has played in 3 Mosconi Cups, and you want to talk about pressure. There probably is no bigger pressure than the Mosconi Cup. Of course, as we get later on in the week here in Vegas, this pressure is going to be on another level altogether.
Yeah, interestingly, though, Ted, he's played in 3 Mosconi Cups, but never been on the winning side, and that's a familiar tale for a lot of American players in recent times. They have snapped that losing streak now, of course.
That was a nice pot there from Juarez. Paul's 40 years old, but doesn't have anywhere near the experience of Justin Bergman. But you know what? You can't look at who you're playing. You can't look at the guy in the seat. You got to look at what the table offers you.
So important coming in as the underdog to get a good start, isn't it? If he could just get that first rack on the board, have the break in the second, stop Bergman building the early momentum. And as we saw in that first match, when the seeded player does that, he can just streak away.
Well, he's going to get away with that. He gave that one away, but he's not going to be dissatisfied with that because he did manage to get a little cover. We know how excited all you pool fans are out there. This is the first time Matchroom has done a multi-table event since the 2007 World Pool Championship. And those of you who remember those days remember just how electric those events were, and especially as the drama builds up throughout the week.
Yeah, and anyone watching in the UK might remember that the 6 times world snooker champion Steve Davis featured very prominently in that era.
Now, this is our live stream arena. What people may not realize is that when we get down to the final 16, there's an entirely different arena being constructed right behind here. It's called the Diamond Arena. It's going to be spectacular.
Yeah, it's unusual that to effectively move from one arena to another, but as you say, it's going to be fantastic. And what we have here, a very different setup, but spectacular in its own way, with 33 tables in operation.
Yeah, that's not an ideal safety there. That was a poor quality effort there from Juarez, and this rack should be over in just a minute.
Yeah, Juarez will feel he's missed a big opportunity here.
Well, there's really no substitute for experience. Justin Bergman has played under the big lights. He's best finish here at the U.S. Open 2014. He got 4th. And the following year, he was 17th. And in 2017, he was 13th. And 2017, of course, was the last time that this event was held. It was under the Bergman family era in Virginia.
Well, that was Juarez's last chance, really, wasn't it? It was a shot that did have some potential to go wrong, but having played it that well, Bergman surely now going to take this opening rack. And he's off and running. He leads by 1-0, Ted.
Certain things to pay attention to as we go along here. Number one will be the break shot. You'll hear a lot of the players talking about the break shot. In any 9-ball match, the break is the most important, because if you can get that ball down at least one and get an open shot, you are off and running. And the other thing is going to be the safety play, because you saw right there, when you have a weak safety game, and Juarez had some very poor safety efforts there. He just left the ball open, and you cannot, in a rack of 9-ball, there's so few balls on the table that you just cannot give a guy like Justin Bergman that kind of opening, because basically you get 1 or maybe 2 chances in a rack of 9-ball. So if you're going to leave a weak safety, you're going to lose.
I think nerves were a big factor in the first match we saw on this table, Ted. Do you think there was a bit of that there from Juarez in the opening rack?
There's no doubt about it. Listen, this is the biggest stage he has ever played on. And you're on the TV table right now, and you see those cameras pointed at you, and you know the bright lights are shining down. It's way different than playing in a pool room here. This is totally different. These lights are very bright, and it can be a very intimidating venue. And every time you look, you bend down and look over that shot, you see the billboard in the back. It says U.S. Open 9-ball championship. You know, that's just a reminder of how big an event you're playing in.
He describes himself as a student of the mental game, and we certainly saw that at work there, as you say. Juarez feeling a bit of pressure early on. He's under a bit more now. Can he get through to this one?
So we're racking with the template there. You can see that. And the players are not allowed to come down and look at the rack. They have to stand at the end of the table where they're breaking from. It is absolutely prohibited to look at the rack, so they cannot get any kind of advantage by seeing if there's a gap between the one and the balls behind it, because that's when they do that, the players can understand where to hit the balls on the break, and they can sort of manipulate how the balls go, and that's what we want to avoid. So now, because they don't know how the balls exactly are racked, even though we have a template, they're pretty much forced to smash the balls off the break shot. So now you can see he's got a ball down, the 6, and he's got an open shot, it appears, on the 1. Oh, and he goes for the 1-9 combo. And now this should be on right here. Good opportunity here for Juarez to get on the board.
Yeah, he missed his chances in the first rack. But what a golden one he's been handed here, right at the start of the second. Bergman taking his extension there. He knew how important that shot was, and it's gone against him.
This is just pretty much a gimme here. There it is.
So very quickly, Juarez puts the first rack disappointment behind him. And we're certainly not going to see a whitewash in the second match, because it's 1-1.
Yeah, and that'll do a lot to settle the nerves, even though you didn't really have to do much there. Just seeing that goose egg disappear. So 1-1, and the winner breaks format. Michael, I can't tell you how much I'm so excited about this week, because, you know, I came to the sport of pool back in the 90s when Matchroom promoted the World Pool Championship. And those were the great, you know, winner breaks matches, and you saw some amazing comebacks and amazing matches, and just the whole spectacle of this multi-table event and the way Matchroom promoted it. And this is of even another level. So it's going to be so exciting to see guys who, despite all the pressure, can put a 3, 4, 5, and 6 pack together and put their opponent in the chair and see how their opponent responds to that.
Yeah, they've done around 100 events now, Matchroom, over the last quarter of a century or so. About 10 million in prize money played for in that time. So a huge contribution to the sport, and that continuing with this unique event, really, in the modern game.
So referee Nigel Reese gets the balls as frozen as he can possibly be. There's nothing in the rules of 9-ball that say they have to be frozen. It says they have to be as tightly racked as possible. So you can see Juarez not allowed to check, so he's just got to get up and smash him.
And he's got one down there, but no shot on the 1. One almost dropped in the middle, actually.
Well, he's got a clear look at the 1. So certainly he can look for cover here. There's plenty of options up table to hide the ball. And again, this is probably the area of the game where he will be at a big disadvantage in the safety. Is he going to go for it?
Doesn't want this in. No, it's pulled up short.
Well, you see there, he had plenty of chances down table to hide that cue ball, but he has left it open. This is a massive disadvantage for Juarez. For the last 5 years, Justin Bergman has been one of the top players in the United States. Boy, that was well done.
Yeah, needed a good judgment with the cue ball traveling that much distance. He's the number 48 seed, Ted, and, you know, he's there on the basis of results, but in a sense it's a false seeding, isn't it? He's a much more likely contender than that would suggest.
It's hard to say exactly, just to judge when you say 48 seed, because the pool world is so disparate that I mean, you have the WPA rankings, you have the Fargo ratings, and I mean, the Matchroom crew did their best to, you know, do the seeding. It's pretty accurate. But a guy like Justin doesn't play, let's say, in many... Oh, look out. That did not go well. Scratch. So now in 9-ball. With only 6 balls left on the table, fairly open, Paul Juarez has to take advantage right here and get out.
Bergman's given him a couple of gifts early on, isn't he?
Yes, indeed. He left that 1-9 on, and now a scratch, so he places that cue ball anywhere on the table he likes, and generally at this level, you're going to see a run out. If you don't, well, he's going to blow a massive opportunity.
Oh, and he may just have done exactly what you said, Ted. Has he blown us?
He has. That's just a massive blunder right there.
He's feeling the pressure, isn't he?
Oh, for sure.
As you said, he didn't have much to do with the chance he was left with in the previous rack. It was a nice way to get started, get himself on the scoreboard.
Wow, with ball in hand, this is this is not what you wanted to be doing, is jumping over another ball to get the 7 here. I mean, he could play safe. He could just kick that 7 back up table, hide it behind the 8, but and maybe that's what he's going to try to do. I don't. He's put away the jump cue, so he's not going to be going over that 9. Well, he's going to kick at it from the long rail.
Needs a bit of luck here.
Well, that's what in the pool room they call that hit and pray. Hopefully it ends up safe. He's left it on.
Yeah, he's going to be so disappointed if he finds himself behind at the end of this rack. He could have been 3-0 up, you know.
Well, that's not good position. So, although Bergman's getting a lot of opportunities here, gifted to him by Juarez, he's blowing it in every rack as well so far.
Yeah, we're talking about the pressure Juarez is under, but, you know, there's pressure on Bergman as well, even as the clear favourite for the match. There's a lot at stake here. Oh, that's fantastic. And as he got perfect position on the 9 here, he has. Yeah, so recovery. He could have been 3-0 down, but Justin Bergman instead leads Paul Juarez by 2 racks to 1.
So much action going on right now here at the Mandalay Bay. It's the 2019 U.S. Open 9-ball championship. And there you can see the 7-ball going down, but he gets poor position on the 8, but a nice recovery on the bank shot. If you want to know what's going on right now in the rest of the arena, we'd like to direct you to our official live scoring at qscore.com. qscore.com. What you want to do is click tournament, or just go to qscore.com/tournament. Click on the U.S. Open 9-ball, and up will pop every match that is currently going on, and also the matches that have been played already. And there's some interesting matches already. And it is absolutely live scoring. We've got players here from 47 countries, 256 of the best players. And you talk to any of the pool players, Michael, they say this could be the greatest field ever assembled in the history of pool.
It's by far the most international cue sport, far more international a game than snooker, where the vast majority of players are from the UK and China, a few other countries, but much more of a spread in 9-ball pool. And as you say, Ted, that's very much in evidence in this US Open.
So he's got the 1 ball down, and not sure what he can do with this 2 ball. Doesn't appear from that look right there that it passes the purple 4.
Can he play it as a combination? Seems to be what he's looking at.
Yes, that's what he is looking at. And the angle on the cue ball will, if he does make it, will give him position to make the 2 next. You can see pointed with his cue stick where he wants the cue ball to travel for the red 3, which is out in the middle of the table.
We haven't seen a break and run out yet in this match, but a clear chance for Bergman to do it here.
It's not just nerves, Michael. It's also the fact that they, really had maybe only a few minutes to practice on this table. The TV tables are going to be always very difficult to get used to. And it's just, it's the U.S. Open, and there's been so much buildup and anticipation for this event. It just can take time to get into the swing of things, to get loose, and just to get used to the environment.
Well, it's the title people dream about, isn't it? Growing up playing pool, particularly American players. So he potted the 1 from the break. Then it was the 2-4 combination. That set him on his way. So Justin Bergman is starting to take a bit of a grip on this match. He now leads Paul Juarez in this race to 11 by 3 racks to 1 at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. And you're keeping an eye on some of the other tables there, Ted. What can you report?
Well, for example, you want to know how varied and vast the world of 9-ball is. Take the players from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, they play pool there? Oh, yeah, they play pool. They've got a huge federation. Look at that beautiful venue here at the Mandalay Bay. This is spectacular. So, for example, Radwan Jamil R. Saruji defeats Chad Rhodes of the United States. Radwan from Saudi, 11-4. They have a huge federation in Saudi. They have about 16,000 players, and they just promoted a tournament there, and they're very active, and they've been on the rise in the world of pool for the last 7 or 8 years. So you probably will see some players from Saudi Arabia making some noise here this week.
Well, 6 of them in the field, and Abdullah Saeed Oel Shamari has a big challenge later on the main table. He'll be playing the 5-time champion Shane Van Boning. We'll have that one for you a little later.
James Aranis from the Philippines, 26 years old, an 11-0 winner over Roderick Malone. Now, James Aranis, you may not have heard of him, but if you follow the pool world closely, you've definitely seen his name pop up. He is one of the fastest rising Filipino players, and that is really saying something because you all know how many great talents come out of the Philippines. But keep an eye out for James Aranis this week. I've got him listed in my dark horse category.
Well, you were talking about him just earlier this morning to me, Ted, just as the matches were starting. You said to look out for him, and not long after that, we looked at the scoreboard and saw he'd won by 11 racks to 0.
Fedor Gorst, the great young Russian, 18 years old, winning 11-1 over Gary Onomura.
Try break from Bergman this time. Now, is there a route through to the 1 for Juarez? We'll get a good look at it and where they finished. I think the 8 ball just nudging the cue ball into position there. I think he can get through here.
Well, Rodney Morris, great veteran, Hall of Famer, a former U.S. Open champion, from the United States. Rodney leading Ken Kuwana of Japan 10-3 right now.
It's been a momentous month for Juarez this April. Turned 40 earlier in the month. And here he is now playing on the main table on the first day of the US Open. But he's got to start taking some of the opportunities that he has been getting in the match.
Well, this is a tester right here. This is not an easy shot. Yeah, that was, it's, you know, when you leave yourself that long on a cut shot going down the rail, it's, and then you got to factor in the pressure. That was never going to be easy for him.
He didn't look like he believed he was going to get it, did he?
And, you know, that's a great point. It is about belief. So much of this game is a mental aspect.
Well, he can't get down on himself because he knows he could be in a better position. He probably should be leading the match in some respects, but still a long way to 11.
Yeah, again, you just have to go look at the record. There's no substitute for experience. And Justin Bergman has boatloads more experience than Paul Juarez.
And it certainly takes the pressure off Bergman, Ted, when he knows that Juarez isn't punishing him when Bergman is leaving him chances.
Yeah. And that psychological aspect is such a huge part of the sport. When your opponent knows that you're weak, it makes him stronger, especially a veteran like Justin Bergman.
He's closing in on winning his third rack in a row here. As we said, he's faded out of the picture a little bit. Been a quiet time for him recently. His best year was 2015. Won several tournaments that year. Pocketed over $100,000 in prize money. The only big disappointment that year really was the Mosconi Cup, where he only won one of his 4 matches in the USA's defeat here in Las Vegas.
Well, speaking of Mosconi Cups, the vice captain, Jeremy Jones, who won this event, I believe it was 2003, just won his first match, 11-0 over fellow American Jason Hitzfeld. So a good start for Jeremy Jones to stay on the winner's side of the bracket. Of course, it's double elimination. If you win, you stay on that winner's side. We call it the right side of the bracket. And if you lose, you get one more chance on the left side of the bracket. And boy, if you lose early and you're going to try to make it to the final 16, that is one long road to travel.
It is. Well, Bergman himself actually. Wow. I was about to talk about him going on that road in a previous US Open, but we'll suspend that just for a moment because this rack has taken quite a twist. Didn't see him missing that one at all.
Not at all. That is, he's absolutely dumbfounded how that could happen. You can see him scratching his head there.
As we said, he's not immune to the pressure himself, so big let-off and a big chance for Juarez, and he's back in the match.
Oh, that feels better for Paul. Good job by getting that 9-ball.
Well, that's the most surprising shot I think we've seen so far in the match. They've both missed a few, but that looked like an absolute certainty. And so instead of pulling away into a 4-1 lead, Bergman is pegged back to just 3-2.
Well, this is the point in a match. If the players were more evenly matched, I would say that this would be a turning point. Because, you know, you miss a 9-ball like that in the U.S. Open, the pool gods will make you pay. So Paul Juarez has to make Justin Bergman pay for that mistake. He's got to put him in his chair for 2 to 3, hopefully 4 racks in a row, and then apply some heat.
As you said, there's no substitute for experience, Ted, but of course being such a big favourite does bring its own pressure for Bergman because he knows if he wins, well, people are going to say he was just expected to anyway. But he knows he's in a match here, just one ahead.
And you just got to look there at this arena, 32 tables in action. And I'm sure Barry Bergman, the creator of the U.S. Open, ran this event for over 40 years before he passed away. Then his children took it over. And I'm sure he's looking down from somewhere and is very, very proud at what is going on here.
8 ball down. Now, can he get through to the one there? Get a better look from this angle. Well,
no.
Looks like he can't. 5 is blocking him.
He certainly can find some cover up table here. But he's got to, if he comes underneath that one ball, he's got to watch the scratch. That just couldn't have been worse, because unless, well, the other angle looked like Justin could see that to cut it in, although from there it doesn't look like he can. So we'll have to see what he goes for here.
Yeah, it looks like a completely different shot from that angle, doesn't it? And
No,
no way you can pop that.
Yeah. Just has to play safe. Now that works. Juarez might be able to see a bit of the right edge of that one ball. Been a bit of a shaky start for Justin Bergman.
That's turned out okay.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that. That was a good two-way shot. He went for the pot. He knew that with that angle, if he missed it, there would be plenty of distance between the cue ball and the one, and he happened to get safe on that.
Wow, how did that stay out? Just thought gravity was certainly going to take over there.
Okay, another chance. So now, with the balls open, Juarez needs to get out here. What a confidence booster, Michael, that would be for Paul Juarez. If he could get out here, negotiate these colors, and then tie it up.
Yeah, just looking at that shot of Bergman we saw in his chair there, Ted, the body language from him is not good.
No, it's not good. He's not comfortable out here right now. I don't know if he can see enough the two to pot it. He kind of shook his stick like he can't, but oh no, he can. Okay, the way he's getting down on it now, he can see it. And to know that your opponent is out of sorts, as we kept going back to this mental game, this is the kind of situation where a guy like Paul Juarez, who's got far less experience than Justin Bergman, can maybe perhaps calm down and relax and get more into the flow of the match.
Well, he probably can't believe with some of the chances he's missed that he could well be 3-all with such a renowned name as Bergman in just a few moments' time. the setting here on the main table. Plenty of room around here. There's so many other tables packed in tight all through this vast arena. This is the way it's going to be for the first 3 days, the double elimination stage. Best part of 500 matches to be played in that time to reduce us to the 16 for the business end.
Well, that's not going the way he would want it. To have an open table like that and to have to give up the table with a foul and a ball in hand, that doesn't bode well. That was his chance, Michael, right there, to change the entire tenor of this match, and he gave it away.
Yeah, and you talked about momentum earlier. He would have had it all behind him if he'd come from 3-1 down to level at 3-all. As it is now, could find himself on the back foot again. Well, that 7 could still cause some problems. So this is the key shot to the rack now. He lands nicely on the 7. Surely no way back for Juarez. I think he'll be happy enough with that, Ted.
Yep, we're looking at 4-2 for Justin. But I'm not gonna write it down yet, Michael, because of what happened in the last rack. He missed the 9 ball. But he should be able to get straight in on this.
I don't think we'll be writing off any ball for him for the rest of the match after that one he missed.
Oh, that's right. I mean, listen, this is, he makes it 100 out of 100, but this is a U.S. Open. This is on the TV table. So, just wait before you mark it down in your scorebook.
We can mark it down now, though. Justin Bergman may well have been pegged back to 3-all, but instead he restores a 2-rack advantage. It's 4-2.
So some other scores from around the arena here on day 1 of the U.S. Open. Filipino great 2017 World 9-ball champion Carlo Beato, whitewash of Fahad Salem and Al Harbi of Saudi Arabia, 11-0. Copigny, also another one you could likely see in the final 16, leading Giuseppe Iacobucci of Italy, 10-5. Denmark's Barum Lotfi, an 11-2 winner over New Zealand's Tone Nguyen. And Netherlands' Mark Bisterbosch, an 11-3 winner over Richie Ogawa of Japan. Rodney Morris now winning 11-4. There you see the action. It is non-stop, wall-to-wall in the very best of 9-ball all day long. If you're anywhere near the Mandalay, I suggest you come on down here. Tickets are reasonable, and you get right up close to all your favorite players.
Yeah, I saw some guys waiting to get in just before we started at 9 o'clock this morning, Ted. Guys who look like they've been coming to the US Open almost as long as it's been going on, which is over 40 years now.
So in our earlier match, Jason Shaw, the defending champion, defeating Marcus Weston of Germany, 11-0. Naoki Oi having a battle with Marco Vignola of Italy. Naoki up 9-8. Alex Montpellier of France, 10-8 on Canada's Jason Klatt. So those are 2 matches coming down to the wire. Corey Deuel from the Mosconi Cup team, USA, in 2018, a winner, 11-1 over Angelo Salzano. So the scores and the results keep coming in. And again, go to qscore.com/tournament and click U.S. Open 9-ball championship, and you too can have all the scores in real time right in the palm of your hand.
So no look on the break for Bergman. He's played the push out. Did pop the 2, but no open shot on the 1. Well, has that one travelled far enough, Ted, for him to be able to pot it? That's what he's coming round to look. That angle suggests maybe not.
I don't think he can. That was not a good safety. And as I pointed out earlier, and it's something worth reminding, maybe especially for those who just tuned in, the difference in this match is going to come down to things like that, the safety play.
It was a good effort, but it was risky, but I think he's had a bit of luck here.
He certainly did. He got safe. There's a small alley that he may be able to get through to kick it, but I believe he's going to try to jump it.
Now, you mentioned the jump cue earlier, Ted. Explain to people who might not be familiar with it why there is a different shot for a different cue rather for the jump shot.
Well, yeah, because you see it's shorter, and they're actually specifically made just for this purpose, to jump the ball. But the technology nowadays, it makes it quite handy to to jump the ball. Now, not everybody is as accurate. You got to be accurate, and you see guys like the Filipinos and the Taiwanese are super accurate with the jump cue. They can actually pot balls even after jumping over other balls.
Well, Juarez wasn't quite able to do that on this occasion, so Bergman back in play.
It can be controversial in the sport of pool, because even if you snooker yourself, you are allowed to get out of that with a jump shot. So you can go over all your trouble and just jump right over the ball.
The argument would be, I suppose, Ted, you need to play a very good shot and have that skill to be able to get yourself out of trouble like that. So maybe it evens out.
Right, but some people think it's unfair that, let's say, Justin puts Paul in a snooker, and then, with a good regular shot, and then you're able to pull out the jump cue and just, it takes less creativity. There's still a lot of discussion going on in the world of 9-ball about the use of the jump cue. In this tournament, you can use it at any time. No limits either on the number of jumps you can have per rack or per match. No limits.
Well, Bergman hasn't been 3 racks in front at any stage, but really couldn't ask for a much better chance to do it now.
Well, to give you an idea of the skill level of Justin Bergman, in 2018 he was the Derby City Classic runner-up in the Master of the Table prize. And they play all formats at the Derby City Classic. 9-ball, banks, 1-pocket. He's an especially astute 1-pocket player. So just the fact that he got second at the Master of the Table in such a prestigious event as the Derby City Classic will tell you that he's such a great all-around cueist. He was a little worried there.
I think he was looking for some sort of divine intervention there on this Easter Sunday. But he didn't need it. And even allowing for the shot like this he missed earlier on. Surely it's going to be 5-2 now. Bergman starting to take control and motor away. He's 3 racks clear and almost halfway to a place in the next round. He leads Paul Juarez 5-2.
Some other scores of interest around the arena. Spain's Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who's certainly capable of making a run to the final 16. He won his first match 11-3 over Dalibor Nicolin of Croatia. Radoslav Babica, the Polish veteran, defeating Diomar Alpajora of the United States 11-3 rather. Japan's Kenichi Uchigaki, 11-4 winner over the USA's Tyler Fleshman.
So Paul Juarez looking a little rueful there. He's 5-2 down. He knows it could have been so much better for him, but he just hasn't really managed to shake off those nerves that he's been feeling from the start of the match. And Bergman looked like he was feeling a bit of pressure too, but he's shaking it off a bit now and starting to feel a bit more comfortable. And with a bit of a cushion in this match, well, why not?
Looks like he lost control of the cue ball. There, you can see the cue ball got away from him. He's got the 1 and the 2 down, so he's shooting at the red 3 right now. He's got an alley to the pocket way down table, but he's probably just going to go safe like that.
Yeah, not a bad play that. Well, the idea anyway was to keep the pressure on Juarez, but I don't think it's worked out for him.
Juarez might be able to see a thin part of that red 3. Justin's pretty sure he's going to be back up at the table shortly. Oh, nicely done.
Yeah, there was just enough room to get through,
Yep.
and he's on the 4. So the safety play really did not work out for Bergman at all.
Yeah, from that overhead angle, it looked like he couldn't see enough of that to pocket it, but obviously when you're down there at the table, it's a different look. So that was well done, and now he's on this purple 4 here. So everything is sort of laid out for him. He should be able to get out here. Well, he's just going to go for the 5-9. There it is. He's lining it up. He wants to get this over with early. Nicely done.
It was a 1-9 combination in the second rack. Another combination there in the 8th. And Juarez just won't let go in this match. Just when it looked like Bergman was starting to pull away, Juarez takes that rack off Bergman's poor safety. He's back to 5-3.
Well, certainly, Michael, I think any intimidation factor that Juarez may have been experiencing earlier has dissipated for him, because he sees that Bergman is certainly not at his best right now. He knows he's an underdog, but there's been a lot of mistakes. And then look, he's got this score at 5-3 now. He knows he's getting his chances. He's going to expect to get more chances. He's at the table. He's got Bergman in his chair, not feeling his best. So certainly this match is we're not going to call this for Bergman at all. We realize that Bergman has a lot more experience, but Juarez is in this match.
Spotted his opportunity there, left himself the combination, and has closed to within 2 racks. So Juarez gets us off again. Rack 9. 2 balls down off the break. Really wasn't close to getting that double in the end.
And he's left it on, but it's a long one, and it's off the rail. There's a result for you might be interested in. Italy's Marco Vignola defeats Naoki Oi of Japan 11-9. I would consider that a bit of an upset.
Definitely, and the US Open seen an early defeat for one of the most renowned characters really in the game. He'll still obviously have another chance now on the loser's side of the draw, but that puts him under pressure right from the start of what he hopes will be a long week here at the US Open.
Well, about 9 years ago when Mika Immonen won the US Open, he won back-to-back US Opens. In one of them, he lost his first match. And when you go to the left side of the double elimination bracket, you have to navigate through a laundry list of great names, okay? And he had to win 12 straight matches on the way to winning the title. An impossible feat.
Well, in the last US Open, Ted, Justin Bergman, who we're watching here, won his first match, but lost his second to Chris Melling. Then came through 5 matches on the loser side. A lot of them were tight, 2 of them in the deciding rack. Eventually went down 11-6 to Chang Yong-lin. As you said, it really is a long road once you go into that bracket. And, of course, you're under even more pressure then because you know the next defeat will be your last.
Well, look at this shot. If he goes for the cut here, this cue ball is going to travel all over the place. And the problem is it's the position on the 4. You see him pointing his cue tip where he wants it. The 4 ball is sort of married up against the 9.
Yeah, you used the term hit and pray earlier on the match, Ted. I think positionally, that's what he'd be doing.
Well, it sort of does have a natural angle.
As you say, the cue ball, though, is going to be traveling so much.
And that is a very thin cut. So, of course, first you have to make, but you always got to think about the next shot and the shot after that. And that's a very, not only a thin cut, that's a thin gap that he has to land on this 4. Well, this is as bad a result as he could have wanted. He basically just gifted that to Bergman.
Yeah, if he placed that by hand to set it up for Bergman, he couldn't have done a better job for him. Certainly couldn't say either player has got into his full flow yet, by any means.
But you'd have to say that it's a lot better for Juarez at this point because he was certainly a prohibitive underdog, and it's basically an even match at this point. I mean, there's no guarantees that Bergman's going to get out of any of these racks. He's just not playing that sharp.
It's the same in any sport, isn't it? The first round, there's always that special pressure. You just hate the idea of putting in all the preparation and then losing in your first match, getting off to such a bad start and having to go into the loser's bracket so early on.
Be potting this right here. Oh, no. Oh, that's nicely done. Well,
that really opens things up now.
For a second there, I thought he might be actually going at the 9 ball. Nice aggressive play from Bergman.
So is it going to be another tale of missed opportunity for Juarez? The prospect that he was going to close to within 1 rack. He may now find himself chasing a deficit of 3 in a few moments. Comes from Illinois, a place called Fairview Heights. Not exactly hitting the heights in this match so far, Bergman. I think now it's just become a case of trying to get it out of the way and turn his attentions to the next round. The winner of this, incidentally, will play Franklin Hernandez, who's been an 11-2 winner in the all-US clash against Ellis Brown.
Well, this 9 will make it 6-3. And it's been some better shot making for Justin Bergman in that rack, so maybe that will settle him down a bit.
Yeah, he's more than halfway to victory now, and maybe just starting to see the first glimpse of the winning line. I think the next rack now becomes really big for Juarez. If he goes 4 behind, still doesn't really look comfortable, even though he's got himself into the match a bit more. Could just start to see it slipping away from him.
Some other results for you. Finland's Petri Mäkinen An 11-6 winner over Marcel Price. Peter Busarek of Germany, an 11-6 winner over Amar Kang. Some of you may know Amar Kang. Played in the World Cup of Pool on many occasions for India, but he, of course, resides in California.
We're seeing some close finishes as well, though. Hunter Lombardo, 9-8 now up against Kazuki Tojo, rather.
Kevin Chang, who won the WPA Players Championship just a couple of days ago here in Las Vegas. What a fine player he is. An 11-3 winner over the American Christopher Lawson. Kevin Chang, pay attention to that name. You're very likely to see him in the final 16. What a marvelous player. And he's in stroke this week in Vegas.
One ball goes in the side. When the two eventually comes to rest, after all it's spinning, he'll be on that.
That is an ideal break. He hit like a cut break there, sent the cue ball off the side rail, back into the middle, pocket the one. The one's always tracking towards the side pocket there, and that is absolutely perfect. Look at that. The balls are spread apart. He's got the 3 out there, the 4 back down table. I mean, everything is pretty much there. He's got room to manipulate the cue ball too, so this should be 7-3 shortly.
Yeah, he's only run out from the break once so far in this match. But a big chance, as you say, Ted, to repeat the feat here.
And Michael, we see it all the time in 9-ball. It's number one. We'll say it again. It's who figures out the break shot. Now, it must be pointed out, though, they're using the template, the little plastic diamond, to rack the balls. It makes it faster. Generally, it does. Although we've had a few issues here early on. But most of the time, it makes it faster to rack. And we have to do it that way because we have so many players, 256, and we need to get down to 16 in 3 days. Now, when we go to the Diamond Arena, when it's single elimination, it's going to be hand racking. So it'll be a little bit different.
He's making that gesture we saw from him earlier, pointing to the sky.
But it's still, no matter what kind of racking they're doing, whether they're racking in a triangle or in a template, it's who can figure out the break. When you have an advantage on the break, you have the advantage in the whole match.
Again, you would say this is the last chance for Juarez now. You'd fancy Bergman to pot this and get nicely on the 7, but it just does have that little bit of potential to go wrong.
All right, well, he should get out from here. David Alcady, the Whirlpool Master champion, an 11-0 winner over Germany's George Kellner.
Slightly different match to the final of the World Masters, which was such high drama. so much emotion at the end as he won that title for the second time. Less than 100 miles or so from where he's from.
And we have a couple of ladies playing in this event. I believe we have 3, and one of them certainly has the ability to make some noise. Siming Chen from China, an absolute masterful talent in pool. She has been one of the best pool players, men or women, in the world for the last 10 years. You may not have heard of her up until recently. She's been mostly playing in China, but she started to venture outside of China in the last 2 years, and she is here in Vegas. She is going to be breaking off shortly in her first match.
Justin Bergman broke off in that rack. and it resulted in his second break and run out of the match. And now you feel he's starting to take control. He's settling down a bit more. And he now leads 7-3, needs 4 more racks to go through to the last 1-2-8. Well, Ingrid Bergman was best known for her role in Casablanca. Don't think Justin Bergman is related at all, but after the way he performed in that last rack, it's very much a case of play it again as he starts us off again in number 11.
The Philippine great Dennis Orculio is down to Hong Kong's Yip Kin Ling Leo 5-3. And that would be a shocker if Dennis Orculio went down in the first round, because he is certainly one of the favorites to make it to the final 16.
Yeah, we will see some surprises. We spoke about how we expect most of the seeds to come through, but with so many matches, you're bound to see a few go against the form book. At the moment, though, it doesn't look like this one's going to, because Bergman is very much on top.
Well, there, the 1 ball went into the corner, and the 2 ball is covered up by the 9. Oh, sorry, I had the wrong ball because well, that must have been a push out.
Yeah, he did. He played
I didn't hear him call a push out. Yeah, I was wondering, because sometimes hard to tell the difference between the 4 and the 2 ball. Yeah, so that was a push out from Bergman.
Everything's a struggle for him at the moment, even keeping the logo on.
No, that didn't work out. He wanted to get behind that 8 ball. But if Bergman's going to go for this, this is about as tough a shot on a pool table as you can get. So he may be playing safe.
Looks to be in 2 minds about it, Ted.
I think he's going to go for it. Nope, that was safe. All the way. That's well done.
When your safety's as good as that, you may as well use it. And you did call it at the start of the match, Ted. You said he'd have an advantage in the safety and tactical side of it, and we've seen that play out over the course of the 10 and a bit racks we've seen so far.
Yes, it's certainly not just an offensive game. All the great players have great safety tools in their bag. And if you want to win championships like the U.S. Open, you need to know how to play safe properly. Look at that.
Shot like that every now and then helps a bit as well, though.
And how about that? He's got position on the 3.
Yeah, ideal position, really. He's got to take this chance now. If he falls any further behind, it starts to become an almost insurmountable task.
Well, he has to get out from here if he wants to have a chance, because this is all right out in the open for him. Oh, that's just not good.
I think that shot in a way sums up his match, isn't it? You know, he's had his opportunities and he's made mistakes, and they've been mistakes of the unexpected variety, really. In a way, he's been a bit fortunate not to leave an easier shot than this. Well, that's turned out okay in the end.
He's left a very tough shot on the 4-ball. He's hanging in there. You see in the background, on the right of your screen, that's another good young Filipino, Jeffrey Ignacio, who certainly has all the tools to get to the final 16 and further. Well, now, Michael, he's left this on. Boy, he's had every opportunity to get in stroke, and he's just let it go away on numerous occasions. So,
well, we said the body language was bad from him early on. I think, if anything, it's deteriorated as the match has progressed. He just doesn't look comfortable at all. Now, Juarez has already missed one really good chance to take this rack. Can't afford to pass up another one.
Nicely done.
And it becomes such an important rack psychologically now, because bad enough if he was to lose it, but if he was to lose it, given the chances he's had, I feel Juarez might not recover from that in this match.
Well, this is not an ideal shot here. Having to, I don't think it passes into the corner, so what's he going to have to take it all the way into the side pocket? As a lefty?
And if he plays that, needs a bit of good fortune in terms of then getting on the 7.
Certainly doesn't pass from that angle. So I don't know what he's thinking. He may have to go safe. Hard to play safe with the ball spread out like this.
And his safety game has let him down more than one occasion so far in this match. He knows how important it is. That's why he's taken the extension.
He's got to be looking to cut this in the side.
Well, what is there to play, really, Ted? I mean, it has to be that, as you say.
Nope.
Is he trying to cut it in the opposite corner? That is what he's gone for,
Well
and he's got it. Now, that's impressive.
Well, that should really calm him down and at least make him feel that he's being competitive in this match. He certainly has to be feeling good about the fact that Bergman is out of sorts. Slow down.
Oh, no.
Should be
surely
okay.
not. He's okay.
But this is a little bit of a tester because, you know, he can only see part of that cue ball here. He's got to stroke this very carefully. Okay.
Stretched his own nerve ends there with the position he left himself on the 9, but he's still hanging in there. So much has gone wrong for him and gone against him in this match. But he's still in there, 7-4 down.
Let's not forget, this is a winner breaks format. So he will be back up at the table. He's down by 3, but he's in control of the table at the moment.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about how good fortune can play its part in 9-ball, and this is a situation where it could for Juarez. If he just has a bit of good luck off a couple of break-off shots, he can get a run going. That was the key shot. What a cut that was. And he deserved to win the rack after that.
Oh, definitely, because didn't really seem like that shot was, you know, that he would take a shot like that. So we were looking at maybe he was going to try on the side, which is even more precarious. But good job for him, by him, so he could get it to 7-4, trails by 3, and he'll be breaking in rack number 12.
Isn't it funny to see him pot a fantastic shot like that when you consider some of the easy ones that he's missed in the last few racks?
Matusz Nagatsky of Poland, an 11-6 winner over Saudi Arabia's Amir Al-Darbani. Omar Al-Shaheen, the great player from Kuwait, an 11-7 winner over Bradley Shearer of the United States. Paul Duell of Canada, 11-8 over New Zealand's Stanley Walton.
Well, he's got the 1, but not the position he was looking for on the 2. He's a father of 4, Paul Juarez. I'm sure they're all looking on one way or another. Proud to see their dad putting it up to a renowned player here and at least letting him know he's in a contest.
Well, there's the difference in the match. That's encapsulated in that shot right there. A player who's an expert at safety play would have had that cue ball behind that orange 5. Instead, he leaves it open. And this is, you know, he's given Bergman another chance to get a rack. I mean, he's given him one chance after that. You know, Juarez, if he even had, 50% of Bergman's safety game, would be leading this match.
And I guess when you're not used to playing at this level against opponents of this caliber, it's hard to develop a good enough safety game.
Nice pop, but he's left himself a difficult shot on the 3. So we'll be looking at a safety here. I believe that 3 ball has peaked out slightly, so that'll give Juarez a few more options. By the way, we do have a 40-second shot clock in effect on all tables, and you get, of course, 1 extension per rack. Well, that's a very poor effort from Paul Juarez. Yet again, another example of the part of the game that's going to cost him the match, and that's his safety play. It's certainly not anywhere near the standard of what Bergman can do.
It might sound like we're repeating ourselves a bit with it, Ted, but we have to, because time and time again, it is the story of the match, and it is why he's 3 racks down in a match that, to be honest, he could be leading.
Well, you can see like the 9, the 7, the 8, and the, I think it's the 5 ball there, have a nice wall of balls there. I mean, he certainly could have tried to use those wall of balls.
There's the hand going up again. But I think that's turned out just fine. He's not played that well at all.
It's always tough to hit it into the, cut it into the side pocket from that distance. But he hasn't left anything easy for Juarez.
Didn't seem to make a good strike on the cue ball at all. I think if Bergman does get through, he's going to be just relieved to have it over with.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he'll feel he can only play better in the later rounds.
Very forgettable performance so far from Justin Bergman. Well, that one didn't even come close, but will he get a break and get safe? No.
Oh, now that's quality. It was a big ask, really. Had to play a good shot positionally there. Couldn't really have asked to play it much better. And this looks pretty ominous now, Ted. I think we're looking at 8-4. And again, in this match, you'd take anything for granted.
You can see that when he hits the ball, and on numerous occasions, he kind of, when he's not happy with the shot, he raises his right arm up.
He's been doing that all through the
like
match.
He's freaking out about something, like going, "Oh my gosh, what is this about? What did I just do?"
That's the body language that we were talking about, isn't it? He's showing how uncomfortable he is, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do, to show your opponent you're feeling that way.
Well, he certainly recovered from the positional error here. He's back in line. And this will be 8-4 in just a moment.
So Bergman with this straightforward 9 to go 4 racks clear for the first time. Now earlier we mentioned Marco Vignola's win over Noyuki Oi. Let's see what happened there.
He always do ball and 1 clear, and so we went 8-2 without making me playing. But then, as he gives me 1 chance, I take it and I run out.
Yeah, you certainly did. And with Noyuki, he's a very well-known player. Is this one of the biggest wins of your career?
I play for joke. I'm a lawyer. I play for 30, 40 years, but I always played for joke, for hobby, and I'm not a professional player. I always do Italian championship. I've won in the past sometime, but in international competition is my first win. I do some Euro Tour a few years ago. And I've done something good always there.
Well, it's no joke now because you've just won in this first match. Congratulations, well done.
He'll now play Alex Montpellier of France, who beat Jason Klatt of Canada in another close one, 11 racks to 9. Meanwhile, back here, we're into the 13th rack.
Well, I would say also Jason Klatt losing to Montpellier of France is a bit of an upset. Montpellier is a very good player, but I think Klatt has more experience, and so that's a bit of an upset. Certainly Naoki Oi going down to Marco Vignola 11-9 is an upset. Naoki Oi, one of the top players in the world. Certainly he's a top 40 player.
Bergman must be starting to see the winning line coming into view now. He's got a substantial lead. Really, for the first time in the match, you would feel Juarez must see him sort of disappearing into the distance.
Well, he's got a lockdown safety option right here. And you can see those two balls, the 5 and the 2, he's going to use as blockers. Just a natural safety. He would have preferred, I believe, to leave that cue ball closer to either the 2 or the 5. He's left a slight out here on the jump shot. He's going to, Juarez, there you can see, jacking up with the jump cue. Well, that's why you play a safety like that. So your opponent doesn't have many options and he leaves you open. So that's why we often say the best offense is a good defense. Well, you must say, even though it's certainly not his best, I mean, that result right there, he certainly should have had better position on the 2, but boy, he's got a really nice stroke on those long shots, Bergman. Real natural shooter.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier what an all-rounder he is. One of his last really big moments was winning the Upper Midwest 8-ball in Minnesota almost exactly 2 years ago.
Whoa.
Beat Shane Van Bonen in that.
That was a foul.
Yeah. Just as we're paying tribute to all his attributes.
That is a huge mistake. He completely missed the 2 ball.
So an unexpected reprieve for Juarez. But of course, it's only worth something if he capitalises on it.
Well, he's already looking at that green 6. It's blocked from going into the bottom right-hand corner. He has a few other options with that. He was hoping, I think, to get a little bit better position on the 6, maybe to get into the side, but this is a there's no certainty here. He could just as easily give up the table here. That would be a tragedy after getting ball in hand.
He's taken the extension. He knows how important it is and also how hard it's going to be to figure out what's best to do here and how to do it.
bank is certainly on. It's too precarious to cut that, so he should be banking this. Yep. That's nicely done. Now, is he going to get position? Okay. It's not easy, but he's still shooting.
I think he deserved to have at least some shot at this after the quality of the bank shot that went before it.
Played that at a pretty good speed, hit it hard and dead center in the side pocket. Nice pot right there. Needs to get position.
Got to keep running. Oh, wow. And again, it just is the story of the match for him. Just missed opportunities, things going wrong at the vital times. He actually showed a lot of promise when he was in his mid-20s, around 15 years ago. Didn't really go on to build on it. He does have a full-time job as an internet operations manager, so as I said, he's also a family man, so he's got a lot going on in his life outside of 9-ball.
Well, this is very difficult, but nicely done. That's wasn't obviously not many places there to play safe, so at least he got a little bit of a containing safety there. Yeah, it's a hard sport to earn a living in. There's not a ton of money in this sport overall. And there's really maybe 10 or 12 players who can make a decent living out of pool on an annual basis. He overhit that a little bit, so he's allowed the 8-ball to come out into position. Very difficult shot, but a good chance here now for Paul Juarez to get back into it. Well, what a forgettable performance. Justin Bergman just wants to get over the line and get out of here.
Well, he might be doing that a bit sooner. If Juarez has more moments like that, and, well, ball in hand, just makes it that bit easier for Bergman. So this has 9-4 written all over it now. Given the chances he's had, as we've said, Juarez could have been leading this match. Given the chances he's missed, he could have been further behind. But he is some distance behind now, and Bergman is closing in on what would be a very hard-fought victory. He's 5 racks clear now at 9-4.
Some other scores from around our U.S. Open arena here at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas. Martin Daigley from Canada, 11-3 over Pat Fleming. Pat Fleming, an incredible 73 years old and probably the fittest man in this building.
Speak for yourself, Ted.
Pat's an Iron Man. I think he bicycled from his home in New Jersey all the way here to Vegas.
Well, just to still have the enthusiasm to compete at that age is commendable enough in itself.
Pat also a great promoter and proponent for the sport of pool, and a lot of players enjoy playing in his tournaments. Matt Edwards from New Zealand, playing very good, probably the best pool of his career, and deservedly so because Matt has put in a lot of time over the last few years. He's an 11-1 winner over Switzerland's Marco Penta. So Matt Edwards still on the winner's side. Jeffrey DeLuna of the Philippines, an 11-0 winner over Torsten Schmidt. And AC Bergman making the 1 and the 6. I take it to mean that you're also quite fit, Michael. You're
I don't know
a bit of a triathlete or something or something.
Too much time spent playing cue sports.
This cut shot down the rail. Very long.
Big rewards, though, if he gets it right, Ted.
We did good on potting that. I don't know if he got, if he can, yeah, he can see this. Looks like this goes into the side. Oh no, it goes all the way down in the corner. Okay. Good touch there.
Yeah, you said it earlier. He just has such a nice stroke on the long pots, doesn't he?
Well, this kid certainly has the talent to make some noise here at the U.S. Open, but he's going to have to eliminate those schoolboy errors, because you will be punished at this level. Missing 9 balls and getting out of position.
Certainly the stronger opponents that he'll face if he progresses will punish him much more than Juarez has today. Another nice long pot. It'll be a surprise if he doesn't finish it off from here. We won't give it to him just yet, given some of the elementary mistakes we've seen from Bergman through this match. There we go.
Again. Must be so frustrating for Justin. Look at the look. It just, he just looks like he can't wait to get out of this arena and maybe go for a walk on the strip just to get clear his head. But you're saying, hey, he's up 9-4. What's wrong with that? Well, this match should have been over a long time ago for Justin Bergman. He's clearly the favorite. He's got much more experience and talent than Paul Juarez, but Justin Bergman has, at every chance, he seems to have brought back Paul Juarez into this, back up to the table. Whatever he can do, he's doing it to give Paul Juarez a good look at these racks.
Yeah, and the point is he's come here to contend for the US Open title, and he knows he's not going to do that if he keeps playing like this for the rest of the tournament. So Juarez still sticking in there. He's still got a slight chance in this match, but he's got to start playing a bit better too. Bergman still in control, but now the gap reduced to 9-5.
And it is early days, and those of you that follow pool know that, you know, when you win an event, you don't always have to play your A game from beginning to end. I mean, you've seen it in all kind of cue sports, Michael, that, you know, sometimes the winners of an event oftentimes scrape through the early matches and almost get knocked out. And then they seem to go on and, you know, and feed off of that, you know, that they were back from the dead. Now they're playing loose and they go on to win the event.
Well, the point is, if you're playing well in your first match, that means you've then got to sustain that all the way through the rounds. If you're not playing so well, you know you can improve as the rounds go on. You can't improve when you're out of the tournament. Although, of course, defeat at this stage wouldn't quite mean elimination. It would mean a move into the loser's bracket.
And the only problem with the loser's bracket, yes, you're still alive, but boy, that is such a much longer road to get to the final 16 than from the winner's side. I believe the winner's side, you should be 6 matches and you're in the final 16 if you win 6 through the winner's side. that's tough enough here in this field. I mean, you've got, okay, not all 256 here have a chance to win this event, but there's 128 seeded players who can all do some damage.
Yeah, you go into that loser's bracket, you can end up feeling a bit like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption, having to crawl through a swamp to get to the light at the other side.
A really difficult cut shot here.
Not helped by having to bridge so close to the 3 as well.
Yeah, I think he's just going to go safe. Yeah, there's again, there you just see that wall of balls right there. Just hide it behind there. That's what you do. And that is the smart move because, again, he knows he's a better safety player than Juarez. Juarez will have to bring out the jump cue now. Well, or Willie. Oh, he's got a gap. Oh, there is a little alleyway there. That's why he didn't pull out the jump cue. And he's got safe.
Really
so nicely done.
There was no margin for error there at all through that gap. I mean, amazing that he found a way through.
Well, I think that's also says something that Bergman's safety game isn't exactly on. I mean, he would have preferred to marry up that cue ball to one of those balls down there, like, say, the 8 ball.
Oh, and he's had a bit of fortune, I think. Has he, getting in behind the 2?
You know, that's going to be very difficult to get at that 1, even if he brings it off the rail. It's so deep into the pocket there. I don't know if Juarez can do a rail first kick and pot it. Because he's liable to foul and not even hit the 1 ball.
It doesn't look to me like he can get to the point of the rail that he would need to hit to come across and strike the 1. So no surprise at all that he's called for the extension here. Get this wrong and he could be 1 rack away from defeat.
The angle also to kick it in off the long rail is also not there as well. That's really unfortunate. I mean, that's how 9 ball. It's a game of millimeters. If the ball turns just one more turn, he's actually going to go for it. I don't see how he can get to that. Oh, interesting play there. Well
that's
done.
Brilliantly picked out. That's perhaps the best shot we've seen in the match in its own way. Well, he couldn't get to that spot on the rail direct, so he came off the near rail.
Well, even if he doesn't win this match, Paul Juarez is going to have a shot on our early highlight reel.
Yeah. And at least he'll have that moment to take away from his US Open experience. Oh, but then he doesn't back it up.
But he did get safe. Now, Bergman may want to jump this. Now he's just going to kick at it. Oh, well, he's now left an opportunity for Paul Juarez to go for a 2-9 combination. And you know he's going after this one.
Well, it would be the 3rd rack he's won with a combination in the match.
That didn't go well, Mike. Actually, it did. Look where he left the 2 ball, married up against the 8 and the 4, so it's a complete mess now.
Yeah, not quite what he had in mind, but he'll settle for a decent second prize there. We've talked about Bergman's safety game. He's had to rely on it in this match a lot more than he perhaps would have expected, because the overall flow and consistency of his game just hasn't been there. So he's had to have something else to fall back on.
He wants out of here as soon as humanly possible. He is not comfortable at all in this first round match.
Bit of a hit and pray, to use your expression, Ted. And I think his prayers may just have been answered there. He spent a lot of the match pointing to the heavens, looking for some sort of divine intervention. They've had little of it on that shot.
So many great players in action. The world 9-ball champion Joshua Filler is a few games into his first round match. He's leading 3-0 over the USA's Matt Craw. Alexander Kazakis from Greece, one of the top players in the world. He's actually world number 2 right now, leading 4-0 over the USA's Jason McLean.
He, of course, was the man, Kazakis, who came so agonizingly close to winning the World Masters, losing that amazing final to David Al-Kaidi last month in Gibraltar.
Well, here's a chance for Paul Juarez.
Oh, what's he done here? Oh, he's okay. Just kept running long enough. And if he can get back to 9-6, it's going to make Bergman think, particularly as it was 9-4.
This is a tough shot. He's somewhat up against the rail here, and he has to cut the 3-ball in. And of course, he's got to get position for the 4. Ooh. Which he didn't do. Well, you got to pot the ball first, but you also got to get position. And he knows it. Even just after he hit it, he knew that he wouldn't get position. He didn't hit it hard enough.
It's like the classic board game, frustration. It's as if they've been playing that for the last couple of hours. It's written all over both of their faces, and we saw it again there from Juarez when he saw where the cue ball was finishing up. Well, that was a decent effort. But a good chance this for Bergman to move within 1 rack of victory. On a good day, he runs out from here maybe 9 times out of 10, maybe even more than that. But it hasn't been a good day. Hard to see what can realistically go wrong from here. So bit by bit, he's getting there. Nowhere near his A game. But Justin Bergman is on the hill. He leads Paul Juarez in this first round match at the US Open. 9-5. 10-5, sorry.
Okay, well, David Al-Kaidi, the winner of the Whirlpool Masters, he was a big winner in his first round match, 11-0, and he stopped by to chat with Tom White right after that win.
And with the Whirlpool Masters champion David Al-Kaidi, he was just won 11-0 in that first match. How good did you feel playing there?
Yeah, I play really good. I had a good break. I don't know how many right now consecutive, but I play really good.
And how's life been since winning the Whirlpool Masters in Gibraltar? Because they were fantastic celebrations.
Yeah, of course, for friends and family, but for my confidence is too good. I have 2 weeks for good preparation for this tournament. Now, good focus for trying to win.
Would this mean even more to you to win the US Open?
Of course, I try to win every tournament, but now more. You have more confidence, more possibility, but I have too many very good players in US Open. But okay, I try.
You did well at the Whirlpool Masters. You've done well so far here. Well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back, and it is Justin Bergman breaking, but he breaks dry. So more work to do. Bergman 1 away from a win here on day 1, round 1. This is a double elimination U.S. Open. The winner stays on the winner's side of the bracket. The loser will go over to the loser's side, and it is a marathon. It is a long, long road to get to the final 16 from the loser's side at this point.
Paul Juarez looks to be heading for that loser's side, but he's not done yet. He's got to win 6 racks in a row. He's going to have to play so much better than he has so far in this match to have the slightest chance of doing it. But so long as you're still out there, you can still win. Can't win the match back in the players' room or back in your hotel. Apart from anything, he'll want to spend as much time in this environment, on this table, building experience in this sort of setting as he possibly can, even if he is ultimately to lose the match.
Well, you're exactly right, and it's a great experience for a player like Paul Juarez, who will not have played in an environment like this in his entire life. I mean, we were looking at his record earlier. It's, he's played in some, regional events and small tournaments, but nothing of this caliber. And to come out here and he's actually given it a good go. Not bad there.
Yeah, I think he will have some regrets, particularly about some of the early racks when he had a chance to actually take a bit of a lead early on. But as you say, overall, he's put it up to Bergman and he's frustrated him, let him know that he's in a contest.
Well, you often hear us say in pool, anything can happen. And a lot of times, anything does happen. And look at that Whirlpool Masters, what happened. But in that case, you're dealing with guys who are, well, here's another chance now for Juarez. Ball in hand. I mean, you're talking about players of an elite level there. So, yes, anything can happen. But here, Juarez, I'm sure, would be the first to admit that he knew he had very little chance to beat Justin Bergman today. Matching wits and safety play, not a chance. And that just comes with, the fact that Bergman is so much more experienced and Bergman is a full-time pool player, where, as you say, Paul Juarez is not.
As underlined by shots like that. grounded some great balls and missed some that you would back any player in the field to get. And now he's in all sorts of trouble.
This is a very tough kick shot. This has the makings of a foul here. Well, he did a good job of making contact with the four, and he got safe too. So nice effort.
Yeah, couldn't have asked any more from that. So still battling to the last.
Hey, I don't blame him for battling to the last. He may not ever get a chance to be on a stage like this again.
And maybe his time on this stage could be coming to an end because he's left Bergman a bit of a chance here. Chance to maybe leave himself a 5-9 combination.
Absolutely. It's right there. Nine's very close to the pocket. And that could finish things off in just a moment. Or it could be a carom into the 9. That's probably what it'll be. Just like that. There it is.
Either way, he's done it, and the 31-year-old from Illinois is quite a relieved man. He hasn't played anything like his best, but